Ah, recording started. We're in business now. I'm going to go with share my desktop. So this awesome Prezi. Do not judge me. I'm actually really bad at Prezi. It was after my time, so. But I tried. Anyone use Prezi? Okay. I'm going to get better at it. I removed a lot. It was like zooming in and out way too many times, so I did remove some of those. Hopefully it works still. My education experience, I'm from Illinois. I went to Illinois State University. My degree is in technology education, so I'm pretty much a nerd, capital N. My passion is in graphic design, even though my degree, I can teach anything at the high school level from graphic design to architecture to construction and so on and so on. If I were to teach construction though, we'd be building birdhouses and Pinterest projects probably. So thank goodness my job is what it is. So I only teach digital media and graphic design. I actually teach a dual credit course, so students in high school can gain the credit for digital media in high school. Yeah. Okay, fun facts, because that's what everyone wants to know. I'm a sports fan, so I can dish it. Okay, who's going for the Patriots? Okay, good. Okay, we're all friendly then. I'm a Cubs fan just because I'm from Illinois. I'm not from Chicago. Everyone's like, oh, cool, you're from Chicago. No, I'm from the middle of nowhere. Like, this big town, and there's corn and farmers. That's why I moved. Spurs fan, because since I moved here, they're awesome. And then Buffalo Bills, it's kind of hard to explain because my brother-in-law played for Buffalo for 9 years, and then he played for the Seahawks for a year. But now he doesn't play for a team, so now I just shoot it with a question mark with the football is right now. I usually just go for whatever team my fantasy kids of people are on. I got to meet some cool people. That's Marshawn Lynch. He's hilarious. And this is my brother-in-law. That's Fred Jackson. He used to play for the Buffalo. He was a running back.
I was never supposed to.
We'll stop with that one. All right, I'm a Netflix junkie. All right, I like Defenders, Crown, and then This Is Us is now on Netflix. But I'm all over the place with my TV shows, and I'm really bad at binge watching. Like, I get sucked in, and I can't stop watching those stupid series. And you're like 4 in the morning. You're like, I need to go to sleep. Yeah, just one more. Yeah. This is my babies. I do not have any real children. This is Millie, and then I get this one February 2nd, so I'm pretty excited. I had another one, Millie's brother, who passed in Halloween, so Millie was lonely, so we got a new one. But I can't decide on her name. It was a major decision, so if you have any awesome names, you can email them to me. It is a girl. Right now the top name is Lizzie. I think it's kind of cute. But everyone likes Lola, but it doesn't go with the IE sound. I feel like it needs to say IE, you know, brown. But the thing is, it'll probably turn silver. So it'll be like the color over there, because all the puppies are dark. Yorkies are dark when they are born, and then their hair grows out. So yeah, like Coco would be kind of cute too, but she's going to end up being like a white dog. So then we'd be like, But anyways, no one would probably judge me if my dog was named Coco. It was white chocolate, right? Places of employment. Good old Mickey D's. When in high school and through college, I was the drive-thru queen. It was crazy, and if anyone works fast food, it is a tough job. It is not an easy job. I was a house mom for a sorority my last year in college. Very interesting job. It means I had an apartment inside of a sorority house, and I was the liaison between the people that ran the house, like adults off campus, and the girls on campus. And never again, I do not recommend it. They were pretty disgusting. They're very spoiled. And sorry if this is anyone's sorority in here. I don't know. But yeah, very interesting job. Best job in the world. I was a computer lab monitor in college. Best thing, you got to print for free, so everyone was your BFFs. And then John Paul Stevens High School. I've been at John Paul. This is my 12th year teaching there. So this is my I always mess this up. I think it was my 8th year at Narcos Vista, but again, it could be 7th. After a while, it just gets fuzzy. Voila, that's my crazy. I cut everything out. Alright. Stick to my list, because I'm really bad at getting off topic, so I had to create a bullet list for today. Attendance. Alright, attendance for this class. How I roll with that is we all have things come up, but you shouldn't miss more than 2 classes. The reason I say that is if you miss 1 class, it's like missing a week. Alright? Just send me an email. Just say, hey, what's up? I'm going to miss class tonight. I do send out your weekly emails, like an update after class, kind of going over what we talked about, what's going to be due. I know I've been moving a bunch of stuff around, and I don't know if it gives you like 6,000 alerts. I'm really sorry. They gave us a new template this year for this course, so I had to upload it, and then all my uploads seemed to like went everywhere. So now I'm going in and trying to change everything and move stuff around. So I'm sorry that you get alerts. I don't know if there's a way to turn that off or not. But I am updating those regularly. I changed all the AMs to PMs. All right. I know that was an issue yesterday, and I didn't notice it until it was too late. But I did grade those who turned it in anytime before I graded it. So anytime, I think everyone got it in before midnight, I think. So the reason I have you do the screenshot, one, of your profile, obviously I can go to your profile and check it that you got it done, but I recommend you screenshotting when you submit your project so you have proof that you submitted it, because sometimes, I mean, it's been very rare that for some reason between here and there it disconnects. So like you submitted it at 8 o'clock on a Saturday, and then I come around to go grade it Sunday night or Monday morning, and I don't see it turned in. And you're going to say, I swore I turned it in, and I'm going to be like, you didn't. But if you have that screenshot of that, and you need to make sure it says like the date, so you're just not a random thing that says submitted. Okay, that could be for anything. But it's a good thing to do for any class, just so you have a backup of whatever you're working on and submissions, because technology can be flaky sometimes. It's very rare. I haven't had it that often, but I think I've had it twice. So especially for a big project, that can really hurt you, because I do not accept late work. So as a digital media or graphic designer, you are held to deadlines. That's one of the biggest stressors of a graphic design, probably why I'm not a graphic designer. But you have to get used to having those deadlines. So I know that sounds like hardcore, but I do not try to overload you, and I will help you. We're not going to be doing like 1,700 things, but you need to set time in your schedule. So for example, we meet on Mondays from 6 to 8. I recommend you pick another day of the week that you work a couple hours, 3 hours. So schedule it now. Make it the same time every day, just like it's a class. Because if you don't put it in your schedule like it's a class, you will not do it. You will go around it. There's a lot of videos to watch, so it's not something you can like skip through to the end and try to just do the assignments. So it does take time. I can see your logins. I can see your views counts of what screens you viewed. So it does keep track of that. Just make sure that you're actively using your time. You should be logging in twice a week, okay? And you should be completing the modules. Does that make sense? All right. So you shouldn't have like 10 minutes a week on the modules. You should be. I could see those hours and what view counts you have. Oh, attendance. Wow, I got way off. Didn't I say I was going to start with attendance? There is a grade for attendance. How I do this is it just keeps tracks for me. Over here it's going to show me you have 100% or 80%. If it helps you towards your final grade, I'll keep it. If it hurts you in your final grade, I will remove it. That makes sense? So if you have 100% in here on attendance, that's going to help you for your final grade. But for some reason you miss a couple classes and you have a 70% there, it's already going to hurt you there, so I'll remove it. So don't freak out about those grades. So say something happened next week and you miss it, it's going to show like a 50% there. That will change as classes go and you get more points for attendance. That makes sense about the attendance column. People freak out on me on attendance. All right. Modules. So hopefully you've logged into, I think everyone has logged into the online course. As a hybrid course, you're going to be, it's kind of like a flipped classroom, so you're going to be doing most of the information at home and online. And what I use this lab time is, go over any of the software tools, do demos, and then help you get started on the projects. So you will be successful on whatever project is going to be due. I'm trying to think. Discussion posts. Does anyone have any question about the discussion posts? I think I sent it out early. Basically, we'll have periodically have discussion posts. You must post a post. It needs to be your grammar. Watch your grammar. Do not use like text talk. Okay. Don't use it from your phone because usually that's when you're having issues. I personally type in Word and then copy and paste just because one, I know it saves, and if something happens to my computer, I still have my discussion posts. I gave you all the guidelines in that last email about the discussion posts. Just make sure you reread that. Our first discussion post is on Photoshop tutorial, so you'll complete a tutorial, post about it, and then comment on another two people that did post. Now for tutorials in Photoshop, you're going to find good ones and bad ones. You can talk about how bad it was, because sometimes you get through the entire tutorial, and at the end, there's a step that doesn't make sense, okay? And you can talk about it. You're like, got to step 7, and then it said to do this, and I don't have that button, and I had no idea what they're talking about. There's a couple ways of troubleshooting that. Some tutorials that you can find, if you scroll down to the comments, people are going to be answering those questions. 2, Google's your friend. You can Google it and see what it looks like. But when you do research on tutorials, I recommend that you say CC. That's the newest version. So Photoshop Tutorial CC. Because if you do just Photoshop tutorials, it could be from CS5. And it doesn't look the same when you're trying to work through that tutorial. Try to challenge yourself when it comes to tutorials. Do it in an area that you are maybe feel like weak in. Just don't do something that's like, oh, I changed the filter in Photoshop, changed it to black and white. All right. Try to challenge yourself when it comes to tutorials. Some of them turn out really neat, and you get a lot of good ideas through that. And that's really where you're gaining your experience in Photoshop and Illustrator, because we don't have a lot of time to spend on each of these programs. These are big programs. Photoshop and Illustrator, I spend a year on in high school. So we have like 10 classes, and we're covering a lot more software. So it's going to be very fast-paced. So that tutorial part is going to help you learn whatever you want to learn. So if you want to do, like in Photoshop, you want to learn about photo editing, that's kind of your thing, then focus your tutorials on that. If you want to do like selections and masks, look at that, just depending on what your passion is, because Photoshop, it can kind of be all over the place with that. Modules, I've been opening them one at a time. So right now you should see the first one, which is like they get to know you and all the information about the labs. Then it goes into the introduction, all right, kind of like the copyright rules, the APA formatting guide, the citation machine. That's going to be your BFF right there, because it's so much, because you do have to cite the photos that you use. So, and some of it's kind of challenging, especially when you get an image from the internet, but the citation machine will help you say, like, plug in what you know, and then it'll pop out with the correct way it's formatted. So right now we're at the Photoshop. We have the Photoshop tutorials, which I talked about. Oop, up one. I'd rather be is what we're working on. I jumped ahead. I'd rather be. So this is going to be a postcard of somewhere where you would rather be. There are 2 videos in this module that go over the I'd rather be demo right here. It is actually from another instructor that teaches this class, so we share materials all the time. If there's some part you're struggling with, just let me know. Do not email me or text me on Sunday and expect me to answer your questions because you waited to the last minute. Okay? Try to make sure you're looking at these assignments in the beginning of the week so you can see those questions that you may have or issues you may have. That makes sense? Lots of information. Today what I'm going to do is demo Photoshop for you. I'm going to show you selection tools, and I have actually an activity for us to complete, and it's going to be something like this. It's going to be using the selection tools in order to move all these objects up. So if you are logged into a computer right now, if you go to your File Explorer, and then you're going to go to the M drive. The M drive. And then you're going to look at Photoshop Selected 1. The username is MNStudent1. That says at Photoshop. So you're going to go to the M drive. Lesson 3. You go to the M drive, and then there you go. And then this one. It's Add Photoshop Lesson 3. Yeah, and then just go ahead and open that. So once you hit the M drive, you're going to go to the Add Photoshop Lesson 3. You're going to see your file manager. In drag add Photoshop you'll find it here. All right, I know this is kind of cheesy, but it does help you learn these tools. There's a lot of different kinds of selection tools. You will find that you probably will use the quick selection the most. But this is a good way to practice. So the first one I'm going to go over is the quick selections, because everyone loves the quick selection tool. You use it all the time. And that looks like a paintbrush with a little circle around it. If you have it as a double wide pane, if you have your like that, it's the second one down. It's called Quick Selection Tool on the right hand side of the toolbar. If you have it full length, it is the fourth one down. Okay, so this first one, does everyone see the quick selection tool, maybe? Anyone not see the quick selection tool? It's up towards the top, the second one down on the right. You may have to click on it, if it might be the magic wand sitting on top. But if you click and hold, the more tools will pop out. You're looking for the quick selection tool. So the first one we're going to do is B, just because it's right there. Randy, go ahead and grab that packet and then jump on a computer as fast as you can. The password is MMStudent1. So the first one we're going to do is this B right here. I have the quick selection tool. Up at the top, you're going to have options. So it's going to be plus, minus, and I don't never use the first one. I use plus. Okay, for quick selection, if you select something and it goes out a little bit too much from what you want to select, you can use the minus to then bring it back. So I have a quick selection. On the plus, I'm going to click once inside sand dollar. Sand dollar. I believe it's the sand dollar. If you click once, do you see marching ants around it? I call them marching ants. you may want to zoom in. To zoom in on that shortcut is Control plus. Control plus if you want to zoom into your screen. And then I recommend this one right here. If you have not moved it yet, I recommend you copying it. Because if you don't copy it and then you move it somewhere and then you go to move it again, it's going to grab that background again, so then I'll have a big white chunk sitting out of the document that you didn't mean to have a white chunk. So I copy and paste, which is Control C, Control V. And then I'm going to go to my move tool and I'm going to move it. I'm going to come around right now and help you. Control V. No, sorry, Control V first. Control V. So, yeah. So now I can grab it. Yeah, I think that's it. And then you move to the top right here to be able to move it. So you already got us a copy, so now you're going to go to the move tool. And then put it right over to maybe it is A. I don't know. I lied. It could be the A. You put an A or B slide, it doesn't matter. Alright. Not too picky. And then that one and move it. That's right here. And then copy and paste it first. Control A, Control U. So then you won't have to worry about remove the layer.
Yeah, I was
Now I'm going to copy and paste it. Control C, Control V. So now I can see that layer of writing. So now I can move my move tool. Just move that way. Okay, so since it's on a player with colors and matter, you know it's okay. It's going to be your friend. So what are you going to do? So the selection tool is this one. Now what are you going to do? So I'm going to go ahead and do this. Yes. And then when we use the selection tool, I'm going to go plus because I want to add a selection. And then I put one thing inside here. Okay. Now hit Control G, Control V. Just copy and paste. Now you see a new layer. So now I can move it to that. You okay? Alright, so the next one we're going to use is the magnetic lasso tool. So the magnetic lasso tool is going to be under the polygonal tool. Third one down. So if you have the double bar, it's going to be the second one down on the left. If you have the single bar, it's going to be the third one down on the left. You're going to have to click and hold on it in order to get more options. Does anyone not see the magnetic lasso tool? Everyone got it? All right. So now I'm going to zoom into this one. Again, Control plus is a shortcut. It's a lot easier to get zoomed in on this in order for you to complete with the magnetic lasso. So how the magnetic lasso kind of works is it guesses where the edge is. So all the other ones are kind of freehand when it comes to lasso tools. I have not a steady hand at all, so I cannot use those because it would be like all over the place, right? Magnetic lasso tool guesses. There's going to be points where it guesses wrong, but we can go back with that quick selection tool and subtract it back. Okay, so if you see it jump out, I'm going to demo it right now. So I'm going to just start wherever. I'm going to click once, and then I'm going to drag, and I'm not pushing down or anything on my mouse. Oh, there's one. I'm not used to these mouse, they're so sensitive. Every once in a while, if I want to force a point, I can. So if I know like it's coming into a place where I know it might struggle to guess, I can force a point. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Okay. Epic fail. You know that you are where you started when you see the circle at the end. So if you come to the end, you're going to see a little circle pop up next to your pen tool, and that means you are complete the path. That's when you click. If you don't complete the path, it won't make the marching ants. I'm going to go in and fix mine. So I'm going to go back to my quick selection tool and choose the minus, and I'm going to minus everything. Is it tolerance on something? Oh, I'm on the wrong layer. That will help. Make sure you're on the right layer. All right, and then I have to add this part in. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to add that little part in. Now once I'm satisfied with this, I'm going to go Control-C, Control-V. Now I have a second layer. And I can use that Move tool to move it. All right, I'm going to come around. Also, if you ever hear me say Command, it's because I teach on Macs during the day. And so I mean Control. Control-D. Okay, that means deselect. So if you ever have previous selection, you can just say Control-D.
I have a over to I had a 60 by 140. And then the so do we use the last way?
You'll copy it. You know, B, C, and D.
Which kind of sucks. Because like that after they time there was enough.
Oh, you're on there. If you're in the center.
Oh,
So that's your copy there. So you're going to be there.
yeah, I got mine when I was listening. At the time, it was like 50 pounds. I thought it was like 600 pounds. Getting you ready? You ready for that? Yeah.
Just crazy, still quick, and then hit Control V like you were before. We're good? Okay. So, we need to make sure you're on this layer. This is where our stuff is. Okay. This is just that copied layer up here. So I'm going to Control V, bring that stuff selected, and I'm going to go to that magnetic glass image. And I'm going to magnetic glass image. I'm going to zoom in. So you click, and start dragging around, shift them to the edge. Okay, if for some reason it goes crazy, if you just double click and hit Control E, which is the selection, you can start over.
Okay, yeah, I'll touch you on it. Put a lot of it. Yeah.
Good? Good, good.
Yeah.
And Control C. Control E.
That's what I got. Yeah, but I also gave so much.
Just make sure you're on that background layer. So now that we got layers, it gets more complicated. You need to make sure you're on that first layer every time you go do a new selection now, because otherwise you're on that copied layer and you're going to get an error. I still do it to this day. So the next one I'm going to show you is the reef, coral reef, I guess. And it's going to be a two-stepper. So we're going to use a combination. First thing we're going to use is that rectangle marquee, which is going to be the second one down if you're using it the long way, or the first one on the right if you're using the double. We should all just use the same. Anyways, I am going to put a rectangle marquee around that coral, just that coral right here. And then I'm going to go to my magic wand. The magic wand is underneath the quick selection tool. So I'm going to push and hold, and I'm going to go down to that magic wand tool. So remember when you use the quick selection, if you click and hold on that tool, the magic wand is underneath. Looks like a magic wand. Everyone see magic wand? Okay. Now, instead of clicking on the coral reef, we're actually going to click on the white, because what we're going to tell it, don't click on it yet because we got to hit the button on the computer first. All right? We want to subtract the white from this image. Hold on, I got to remember what button. So you're going to hold down Alt, and you're going to see a minus with the magic wand. And I'm going to click up. See, I already did it. I didn't wasn't on the right layer. Click. Undo. Hold on Alt, click inside the white. It should cling to just the coral reef. Now I'm going to copy and paste it. And I'm going to drag it up. We're going to do rectangle. And we're going to put it around areas. Yep. And then you're going to go over here to selection and push and hold. No, like push and hold on the button. Push and hold on that one. That one. That's a good selection. Push and hold. Go to the magic line. Okay, now we make sure we have the background here. Okay, now hold up all. And click right here to the right. Yep, and just make Control D. And now Control C, Control V. Just copy and paste. You got it? Okay. Son, because you're a little bit. You copy that later? Okay, then grab the video on that later. Sorry, video on that later. And then we're going to Control D, so I can select it. Go to your very top one. And then so this is what you do. Rectangle marquee. Around it. Magic wand. Hold out the pulse. See how see the lines there? If I click on it, see how it's just on that. Now hit Control C. Moving. That move to move it. And that is so cool. Back area. It's next to it. So basically, here on the map is control for the active command, and here where the alt button is option. So anytime you use alt, you use the option on that. Anytime you control, you use command. Okay. Now go to nothing. Let's let you do it. Put the mode. Magic wand. Put the mode. Magic wand. Yes. Now hold down Alt on your keyboard. Okay. And click in the white. In the white. Yes. 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 Hold up locally. The tolerance, okay, I don't know how that would like, avoid, go ahead and hit alt. And there it goes. So now Control C, Control D. You got it over here? No, it's a drag table. What?
So maybe, well, maybe just a lab.
And now I was like, now things sound better, right? Now you can Control C, Control V. So when you go to rewatch this, any videos, you're going to see that you're going to want to, slide through some of this part. So like when I get up and walk away and help people. So use the videos to your advantage. Just slide it wherever you need to go. You do not have to watch the whole thing in order to use it for yourself. Those are really the main ones. Quick selection, the magnetic lasso, magic wand. That's the ones we covered, right? And the marquee, just to isolate it with the other one. For the last two, so we have this orange one down here and the shell right here. I'll let you choose which tool you want to use in order to move those two pieces. Now for this one down here, you have to remove it from the blue. You're not just moving the square up into the thing. You're just getting the shell outside of this. So I would probably use the magnetic lasso on this one But again, you can try quick selection. If you hate the quick selection, then try something else. If you have a crazy selection and you want to just get rid of it, Control D is deselect. So it deselects the selection and you can start again. Watch your layers, because if you try to select something and you're not on that main layer, you'll be selecting a different layer. Now for rotation, you have to transform it. So what that means, if you hit Control T, you'll get the boundary boxes and where you would be able to rotate your image. Again, if you're doing this, the number D, letter D, and you need to rotate it, hit Control T, that stands for transform, and you will get those boundary boxes in order to rotate the image. Does anyone have any trouble? Just holler. I'll come over and help. Control T, transform. The selection tools is one of the main things you're going to be wanting to use inside of Photoshop. So for your I'd rather be, you have to cut yourself out of another image and place it on a background image. So when it comes to yourself, think about it, because a lot of us do not have a regular picture of us just like by ourselves with a plain background, because you want to make it easy the first time. You don't want like a crazy background behind you. Try to find a wall that's semi-blank, okay, because it's easier to select. As you can see, when we use the selection tools for these, it's a lot easier to do it when there's a plain background compared to like the one with the wallpaper. Those are kind of jumping, right? Okay. Also think about your hands and your legs. Okay, so if you feel like you're not that good, don't be putting your hands up like this. That means you're going to have to cut around your fingers. Okay. So if you feel like, nah, it's not going to be the one for you, and you think about your hands or whatever, obviously don't just stand there. You're going to try to actually blend yourself into the scene, whatever scene that you're in. If you need to be in a chair in the thing, then be in a chair. So it makes it look more natural in the image. But I would recommend, if you're still struggling with the selection tools for your Photoshop tutorials, find some different tutorials on selection tools to help you work Because again, the selection tools are going to be something that you use all the time. All the time. And if you Google Photoshop Classroom in a book, Lesson 3, there's like 6,000 YouTube videos on this lesson right here. So you can actually go through it again at home. I will email you this file again so you can practice. Because it's a good practice one because there's all different kinds of images. And so, again, it's a good practice one just because there's different techniques for each one. It's not going to be the same thing. You're not cutting out a ball out of every single one. That makes sense? Yeah? Okay. Let me go back to the internet. So that's the I'd rather be. So let's look at the calendar. So on Thursday, you will have to have your first post, your post, posted. Okay? Again, refer to the email. I'll send out another email tonight about the directions on the Photoshop discussions about what it needs to be. I will go in on Thursday or Friday and give you the points for the posts. So it's going to look weird because it's going to look like you only got like 10 out of 30, okay, because of the post. It's the only way I can keep track that you posted on the correct date. Then on that Sunday, once you comment on 2 others, then I'll go give you the rest of the points for those discussions. Then on Sunday, we have the I'd Rather Be and the Photoshop tutorials at 11:59 p.m. p.m., not a.m. Yeah, fix that. And then we'll be here on the 29th. That's next Monday. Please be on time. I get started. I don't want to waste anyone's time. This is a night class. It's a little different from the day class. I want to keep our time wisely because I know not everyone just gets to hang out all day by themselves, not doing anything before this. Okay? Either you're in class, you're in work, or doing both. Okay? So my lessons could be quick and short, and I'll give you time to work on the actual what's due. If you do not want to work on it here, then you may go home and work on it. But if you're not successful in working on these assignments here, at home, I would recommend stay here, stay in the lab. The lab is open later than this lab. So again, whatever works for you for this class. Again, I would schedule it in your schedule. So you come to class on Monday from 6 to 8, and then on Wednesday from 6 to 8 at home, or come to the lab, I'm going to work. Because if you don't schedule it in, you won't do it. Okay, and they're really important to do these tutorials. Some of them are pretty quick and easy to kind of do quick and fast. Some of them are a little longer, just depending on the tutorials and what we're going through. Photoshop is complex program. You will get frustrated with it. The biggest thing with frustration is the toolbar, knowing that if you click and hold, you get those more tools for each one. So there's tools hiding behind the tools on top. Okay, so if you're looking for something and you can't find it, start clicking and holding until you can find what you're looking for. They're all labeled. All right? What else? Go to the I'd Rather Be assignment. Up here it says 640 by 480. That is not in inches. Okay, that is pixels. If it's 640 inches by 480 inches, you will not be able to upload it to the Turnitin. Okay? Speaking of Turnitin, I believe yours over here would have the Turnitin button, right? So this is not the student view. What you'd be turning in, you're going to turn in 3 separate files. Okay? You're going to turn in your working file. The working file is the PSD file. That means I can open up and see all your layers, all your effects, and everything. Okay? Then, also, you would turn in a JPEG. So I'm going to show you real quick how you would export out the JPEG, and then a Word doc for your citation. So most of them is a working file, a JPEG. Okay, that means you export it out, so it's a quick screenshot of it, and then the works cited. So if I'm in Photoshop, and I'm done with my project. I'm going to keep my layers. Do not flatten your layers. Okay, I have to see those layers. Your layers should be labeled. Like right now, it's a hot mess. Okay, the reason it's a good habit to get used to using those layers and labeling those layers, once you start making apps and stuff like that in Photoshop in going into whatever program you would need, if those aren't labeled correctly, your buttons aren't going to work. Okay, so if you get in the habit now of labeling them correctly, even if it's just like background layer, shell, whatever, so you know, once you get into more complex, we could have 30 layers. Okay, you don't want to go around hunting for what layer you need to fix something on. You want to be able to find it quickly. Saving. So I'm going to go to File, Save, just because I'm going to show you how to save. I'm going to say OK. Okay, just saving it is your working file. I should say .psd. Okay. Now I need to export this up so I can also have a JPEG file. So I'm going to say File, Save As. I'm going to drop down this Save As type here and choose JPEG and hit Save. So I'd be submitting the working file to PSD, the JPEG, and the works cited. Just I'm drilling that in your head because for some reason someone will forget. 3 files. I'm turning in 3 files. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and close out of my lovely